Hey fishing friends, JC here with Remodeling Fishing. Well, the time has come to refinish the Snookmaster fishing rod. You guys, this is the rod that I found at a garage sale about 35 years ago. It is an 8-foot medium heavy rod. I got it for dirt cheap way back then. I brought it home and the project was to refinish this thing. I tore off all the old cork and wrapped it with the cord, and you can see it used to have a nice rubber butt on the end of it, but that came off and then it started coming unraveling, so I duct taped it. Some of these fishing eyes started coming unraveling and they've got electrical tape around them, and anyway, you guys, it was a fun project like 35 years ago to redo this fishing rod. And back then when I redid it, I painted on that rod Snookmaster right there. And through the years I've touched up that little Snookmaster name that I put on there. I have no idea what brand fishing rod this is. It is an 8-foot medium heavy, and this thing has caught so many snook through the years, it's ridiculous. I caught my 2 personal best snook on this fishing rod, a 39 and a 42. This thing, on both of them on bridges. This thing is more like the bridge fishing rod for handling big fish around heavy structure. And you know what? It'll do it as long as I, keep up my muscles. I can winch them out of there with this thing. So anyway, you guys, I've already started out with an economical way to invest the materials in this rod. I started looking online because I needed to replace the fishing eyes on there. One of them had some porcelain that was cracked in a couple of places, and so I went around to like Goodwill and Salvation Army. I started looking around just as I would be in the area of these places. Well, today I'm at Goodwill and I'm looking through this box and I'm like, God, they don't have any fishing rods here. And I see this snowboard in a box and it's leaning right up against the wall, and I walked around, I pulled the snowboard off the wall, and doggone it, man, here is an 8-foot long Zebco Rhino fishing rod. It looks like it's old school, and all of the fishing eyes are in excellent condition. It's a saltwater medium heavy rod, just like the Snookmaster. So yeah, all these fishing eyes are in good condition. I've only got one that's bad on the Snookmaster rod, at least one that I know of, until I start taking the wrapping off and everything. So hopefully I have enough eyes to redo that rod and get them all cleaned up. Yeah, I priced like a whole new set of of eyes for the fishing rod. It was like $23 plus shipping on top of that, probably $8. So I would have been in, probably about 32 bucks to get a whole new set of eyes, and just one fishing eye was about $11 or $12 plus shipping, another $5 or $6. So you know what, I got an entire set for $10 here. So I'm in good shape. All right, so that's the plan. I'm not going to invest a lot of money in refinishing this. I am not a professional rod builder, and I am not going to run out and get a bunch of stuff, because this may be the only rod that I restore from now through the rest of my life. All right, well, this is going to be a whole lot of fun, you guys. Well, at least it's going to be fun for me. Let's get on with this refinishing and rebuilding of this old saltwater fishing rod. Basically, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat up this material, and then I'm going to make my cut right on top of the metal where the fishing eye attaches to the pole. I'm going to cut that metal, see if I can get those wraps a little bit loose, and then I'm going to try and pull them off of there. All right, so 3 steps. Step number 1, I'm going to heat this up a little bit. Hopefully that'll loosen up the epoxies and paints and glues or anything else that are holding that on there. Just had to get it down and kind of pry it a little bit instead of just cutting it straight. Looks like that's working. All right, so I've got it started. You can see there the bands are loose. The other ones were Dacron. This is monofilament, and there we go. Look at that. That's just gonna pull right off of there for me. Alright guys, I saw somebody cleaning the corrosion off of their fishing eyes with vinegar. I'm actually going to just pour vinegar in this container right here. I got plenty of vinegar. Just put the fishing eyes in there and let them soak for a while. We'll see how that works. They've been in there for about an hour. Look at that. These things are cleaned up pretty darn nice, man. I started out with like that cheap vinegar from the Dollar Tree, and then I actually smelled it. It didn't even smell like vinegar. So I got out some real vinegar, and yeah, man, just pretty much ate all that corrosion right off of there. Looking good, man, looking good. This guy right here is going to need a little bit of attention. That's looking pretty good. Better. Better. You know, doing cabinet work for so many years, I painted a lot of cabinets and a lot of doors, did a lot of finish work. Even though I live in Florida and we did like so much for Micah, I still had a lot of experience in finishing woods. And the guy that taught me how to like do wood refinishing, he told me the most important step is preparation, getting everything prepped correctly, sanded down correctly and sealed correctly and cleaned up correctly, and you know, that's the most important thing. So I guess that's what I'm doing here. I'm in that preparation process now. I'm just getting all of that adhesive off of there so that that twine will lay down there nice and flat. And yeah, just don't want to leave any of that junk on there. I've got the handle sanded down good. I think what I'm going to do is now I'm going to switch it up to some of this 220 paper that I have, and I'm going to work on the actual rod blank a little bit. You know, the red fingernail polish that I had painted over these wrappings really has stuck to the glue and the composite or whatever of the rod. So I have to be careful, like trying to get it off. Like you can see how much I've sanded there. And you know, one of the rules in sanding stuff down is you don't want to sand too much in one area. So there's still a little bit of an irregularity there. I can feel it where some of that paint and probably super glue, I mentioned I had super glued some of that stuff down a long time ago, is stuck. But you know what, I'm just going to get it as good as I can. I don't want to sand any more like in that spot. It's just too dangerous. I've already sanded that a lot. Don't want to get it down too thin. It'll really weaken the rod. I can feel some pits down in this area. I'm guessing that that's where this thing is like rubbed up against the concrete pilings and stuff over the years. So I didn't want to get too carried away in sanding it, but it's just going to be what it is. I'm not going to spend like a lot of time filling in holes and priming and sanding and all that. But anyway, yeah. So we got it all sanded down and cleaned up. All right, cool, man, awesome. Okay guys, I set the project aside for the evening. It is the following day early in the morning. Just got back from Walmart. I had to pick up a few accessories to work on this fishing rod. Looking around here, I thought I had some alcohol, but I don't have any alcohol. So I said I'm not spending a lot of money on this. I'm going to use whatever I can find, you know, that I have around here to use. So that's the plan. That's what makes it special. It's a homemade rod that is made with these hands with just whatever kind of materials I have that I don't want to spend a lot of money on. So what I have done here is, you guys, yesterday I had this thing all sanded down and prepped and ready. It's sanded down good. I wanted some alcohol so I could wipe this down, get it prepared for painting, okay? But I don't have any alcohol, so don't have any mineral spirits. I don't have like any kind of paint thinners or anything like that. What I do have is some old lighter fluid that I found, and that should work just fine. I don't see why not. And we'll just see if this turns out. It might be a disaster, it might not, but the whole idea here is just to clean this off. That's all I'm doing. I'm just cleaning this off. It'll help get the grease and the grime from my fingers and whatever kind of residue is on there. It'll get it cleaned off of there. So alright, so I guess the next thing I'm going to have to do is just mask this off so that paint doesn't get on the actual handle part there. Basic painting 101 here. Alright, we got that all wrapped up there. Now I've noticed I've already put my hands on this, just kind of doing the display thing and stuff, so I'm going to re-wipe this down. Just get that oil off of there from my hands. This is a two-piece rod, okay? I don't want to get paint on the part that actually inserts into the rod. That'll just create difficulties, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this in nice and tight. Got that in there tight. And I'm going to just wrap a piece of tape around there to give me the marking point of where I don't want to paint, and then I'm going to do something else to it. So let me do that real quick. And now that I have that marked, okay, right there where it's pushed in nice and tight to the rod, I'm going to pull that out. Now this is the section that I don't want to paint. This area right here is the section I don't want to paint, so I'm going to actually wrap that with tape now, and then I'll remove this because this part actually wants to be painted. All right, guys, I'm breaking in here before you see this section. I chose Rust-Oleum primer and paint combined together in one can. I'm not recommending that, okay? I was so far into the project after painting the fishing rod, 3 days later I could still like grab the rod and feel just a slight bit of tackiness. It was like the paint's not curing. It's taking it a while. I did have some older Krylon paint around that I tried on another rod after I had completely painted this fishing rod. And I'm gonna say, you guys check into the Krylon. This stuff right here, it dried within an hour, and it dried nice and hard and solid and a good, nice hard finish. Anyway, I was so deep into this project with the Rust-Oleum paint, I'm going with it throughout the whole project, and we're just gonna let this thing cure for a month if that's what it takes. But anyway, let's get on with this painting section so you guys can see how I actually painted this rod. The actual paint job turned out good. All right, guys, I picked up some Rust-Oleum American Accent Ultra Cover 2 times. It's primer and paint together. I got it in a flat black. And the reason I got a flat black is because if you use something that's like really high gloss when you're doing refinish work, I didn't take time to like fill in pits and really work on the actual blank of the rod. And yeah, so a flat black is not going to show as many imperfections as what a high gloss would. A high gloss will show every imperfection that's in anything that gets painted. All right, so here's my idea. I'm going to take this braided line that I put on the tip of the rod here. I just got it tied to a branch there. Got it hanging down. Should be able to just go right around it and paint it up good with my Rust-Oleum primer and paint. I don't really need to hang this one because I can hold it with my hand. I'm just going to put a very light tack coat on first, just a light coat. That makes it just the first coat just adheres to the surface, makes it just a little bit tacky, and you let that set for a little while, and then your next coats will adhere even better. So I'm just going to put a light tack coat on here. And I'm sure everyone knows that when you're painting with spray paint, you don't want to put gobs and gobs and gobs on. You want to build your layers up a little bit at a time so that it doesn't run. I mean, I'm painting on a surface that's round, and gravity is going to want to pull the paint down. So I'm using a fast drying paint, but I'm also using thin coats. I'm ready to put another coat on this one that I put the nice light tack coat on there. I'm going to give it another light coat all the way around. It's always really tempting to like put your fingers in anything that you've painted. Don't ever do that, okay? Keep your fingers out of the mix. Put a third coat on there. I'm gonna let that dry for about 20 minutes now. The paint says that it dries in 20 minutes. It's an hour to the touch, and it's 24 hours to completely cure. So that's my third coat. I'm gonna let that set for about 20 minutes. Then I'm gonna give it one final coat. That'll be 4 coats on there. I think that'll be sufficient for what I'm doing here. And here's our awesome painting area. We have our fishing rod drying here, and we have our other portion of the rod leaning up against the tree, drying there. No runs, that's 3 coats, no runs at all. Good news. See, I'm holding it by the string. I don't even have to touch the paint. I mean, I could touch the fishing eye if I wanted to, but yeah, I'm just holding it by the string. That'll work. Got our section all set up over here. I got my paper towel on the floor there. I taped one on the wall so I can lean it up. And there it is, man. No paint on the carpet and no paint on the walls. Good deal. Little paint on the thumb though. Okay guys, about 30 hours has passed. This is the top section of the fishing rod. I'm actually moving it a little bit. You can see some mild imperfections. There's a lot of light shining on this. Like I said, this fishing rod is probably, this thing could be 40, 50 years old. It's old, man. But anyway, I let that Rust-Oleum primer and paint. It was a combination. I let it dry for about 30 hours. There are no runs on this. It's a nice black matte finish. I learned this years ago working in the cabinet shop for so many years, but you can see right here, right there is where that tape meets the actual fishing rod. Now it's important that I just score right along the edge of that tape with a knife, just very gently to cut the paint away from the tape, because if I don't, what'll happen when I peel that tape, it's going to want to peel the paint back also. So what I want to do is just run my knife just gently right along between the edge of the tape. Yeah, just right along the edge of the tape to just score that paint so it won't come peeling off. It's running right along the edge of that tape. The critical part right here, I want to be really careful right there on that edge where I just did the score. I want to pull it away in that direction, away from the painted edge, just really slow. Make sure I'm not peeling any of that paint. All right. Wow. So look at the difference. The matte black and the before I painted it, the blank. All right, guys, my wrapping materials of choice for the eyes and some of the decorative areas of the fishing rod. I'm a total amateur. I'm going to use some braid that I have on hand. I told you I'm not spending money. I've got some 30-pound braid here, and it's a partial spool. And you guys, let me show you what I have rigged up for a tensioner here. So I'm sitting around here, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I need some kind of a tensioner for putting this line around the eyes. And so what do I have around here to create some type of tension? And I'm like, are you kidding me? A freaking spinning reel or even a bait cast, anything that has a drag system on it will create tension, right? Well, I got plenty of fishing rods, so I got it rigged up with my brand new combination. I took the two-piece rod. All right, so that's the eye on the two-piece rod, and all I did is I just looped the braid around the eye one time to create a little of additional tension, and then I just have the fishing pole just down here on the carpet. It's not going to move. That'll be plenty sturdy enough. All I did, you guys, I got a pin reel box here. I put a towel over the top, and I got some other kind of like headphone set box there. Put a towel over the top there. That way I can put this eye here, and then when I get ready to do this eye over here, this eye will slide down over this way. I can get this eye complete out of the way and still be able to twirl here. Okay, this is actually after the fact. I've already wrapped all the eyes on the rod, but I wanted to show you the easiest way that I discovered for getting this braided line started. The first thing I would do is take the main line coming from the tensioner and lay it across the top. Then I would take the tag end and wrap it underneath just one time around, so that now I've just got the main line and the tag end line are right next to each other. Once I'd get them like that, I would take super glue, I'd get the two of them tight together, and I would take a little drop of super glue and I would just put a little dab of glue on there. Glue the two pieces of line together, and also it would glue them to the rod. I would let that just set and dry. What we want to do here is we want to wrap the main line. We want to wrap the main line like 3 times on this side. So we go 1, keeping the tag end over on this side. So go 1, 2, 3 times around, and then we're going to leave that tag end laying across. So the main line comes over those 3 wraps, and now instead of being on the outside, the main line is on the inside. We start wrapping again, and we're wrapping right over the top of the tag end. The tag end is just laying there, and that main line is going to wrap right over the top of the tag end. We're going to wrap that, I don't know, I wrapped it like 6 or 7 times around. And then once I got a few wraps on there holding the tag end down, the tag end is pinched underneath and the super glue is holding it as well. Then I would take the cutting tool, cut cut the tag end off, and then finish the wraps. Cut me some little strips of tape to tape that eye down with first. And to take it, I'm going to put this tape up close towards where the support is of the actual eye. That way I can wrap the bottom of the eye. And you guys, like I said, you know I am no professional at doing this sort of thing. What I learned is this wrap coming from my tensioner, that material works best if I put that on top when I'm doing the wraps. Running good. Moving right along here. Once you get it positioned good, it's amazing how that thread just lays down tight to the previous row if you get the right angle with the thread this way. It really works good. Right now it seems like on the other end the thread is a little bit lower than what's happening here. And once you get that thread position right, you can really move this thing pretty quick by hand, and it just almost effortlessly falls into place. You get just the right little bit of tension in the right direction. You can see I'm moving along pretty good there with my turns, and I'm getting some good tight wraps. I have reached the point now where I can create my little loop here, pull the tag in through with. I've reached the point here where I'm ready to, I've cut the main line. Now I'm ready to thread it through that loop, and then once I thread it through the loop, I'm going to pull the tag ends of that loop. It'll create that loop to pull the main line back underneath the threads, which will lock it into place. Got the main line pulled through. Grab a hold of the other end. That's working good. Pull that right through there. Voila! Just like that. Not bad for a rookie. Snookmaster rod is starting to look like a fishing rod there. Alright, I just kind of did a preliminary wrap here just to get the right length of rope. Put a little bit of hot melt down there. And do like that. There. That's holding that hot melt is holding the tag end in place. Let's take that. I'm going to cut the melted end so it's just like a frayed end. Oh, there we go. Now it'll lay flat. Wrap that thing down good. There we go. That looks better. Much better. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right, and I am just every so often, now and then, I'm going to give it a little shot of hot melt just to help hold it in place. It's not going to hurt anything. Certainly will help. Just wrapping that thing nice and tight. So I need to get this in place. It has a specific position that it needs to be in for locking in the reel. And I can tell where that position is because of the old lines where the reel was. But it's got these little pins here that apparently have come loose, but I think I can get this lined up correctly. I had it lined up right a little while ago. I think what I'm going to do is I've got that right there where it needs to be cut off. And about here. I've got enough room to Get that tucked in there good. Oh yeah, so that'll lay in there nicely. Super glue and hot melt. Could you ask for anything better? All right, that works for me. Not bad at all, not bad at all. This is the bottom of the rod. It used to have a little rubber cap that went on there, and that thing just got old and fell apart. I don't have anything rubber. I can't find anything around here that's going to work for that. So I think what I'm going to do is try and fabricate some type of an end cap out of this using the hot melt glue, super glue, and this rope here. So let's see if I can come up with something. I think what I'll do is I'll just start building on the outer wrap. Just keep building it up higher and higher and higher. I'm going to have to take that slow. Just build it up like that. Once I come back around to where I started, I'll just ramp it right back up there again. Just spiral it right on up, just creating that circle. I'm going to make a spiral just to fit down on the bottom of that to give it like 2 layers of the rope for cushioning. All right, so I am thinking the next thing that I need to do is attach my custom butt end over the top of what I have done there, get that glued on there, and we'll be good to go. Not a difficult process. I'm putting 2 coats of this clear coat that has the glitter in it. Just fingernail polish, that's all it is. This is the better brand. I forget what it is, but I paid about, I think, $8 for this. And I'm just being careful as I put this on, and I just start at one end, turn the fishing rod, and paint this stuff on as I go. First coat is just kind of like my tack coat. I'm just putting on kind of light, not super thick. Just building up the coat, building this up with 2 coats. Stuff is thick. It goes on pretty thick, but you know, fingernail polish is made thick. It's not made to run. So I don't really have to worry about it running as long as I don't get the coats too heavy on here. All right, there we go. Our first fresh coat of glitter gloss. So I'm painting the handle black. I figured it would help seal the rope, for one, and 2, my plan was to have a black handle. But yeah, I think it'll be really good as a sealant, you know, keep all the grit and grime from fishing from building up in the rope, and the rope absorbing that stuff. So paint it black with some black paint. Should be looking good. All right, all right, all right. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, guys. Well, this is it. This is the bottom half of the Snookmaster rod. You guys can check that out. There is the new. Compared to the old, it's looking pretty darn good. And here's the top section of the Snookmaster rod. Looking pretty good. So I'm finished with this project, you guys. You're going to be seeing me catching some awesome snook on this thing through the years on this channel. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up are appreciated. Get out there and go fishing, man. Life is fun. Live it. See ya.